From his studios in New York, it's time for Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Here's your host, Dan Tortora.
Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be here with you this Thursday morning, the final day of May 31st, and we have a lot to get to, so let's jump into the morning menu right now.
Here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We like to start off the show by giving you our menu of topics. The morning menu, that is. Live now with the morning menu is Dan Tortora.
The morning menu right here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, brought to you by our proud partners in Central and Upstate New York. You can check them all out by going to wakeupcalldt.com and seeing them all on the homepage. Click on each of their logos for more information on their products, their services, and why they are different in the best of ways. With that being said, this morning is a great morning for Syracuse, New York, is it not? Because Tyus Battle has decided to do what I thought was the best decision, which was to come back to Syracuse and spend some time with the Orange once again for one more season. I thought that he should come back. I thought that there were some skills to hone, some things to do to improve, and he agreed and actually put out that there's some things that he wants to work on and get better at before he puts his name back in the draft after his junior season. So this day, this May 31st day, and technically May 30th, because that's when he technically did it, Tyus Battle is back with the Syracuse Orange. He is back on the squad, and he has decided that Syracuse is where he will spend this upcoming season, as opposed to going to the NBA draft, staying in the NBA draft. His words to the community, he said, quote, "I have decided to go back to Syracuse University to complete my junior year. Although I may have been picked by the NBA team of my dreams, I feel it is in my best interest at this time to focus on improving some fine points in my game while continuing to work toward achieving my degree. My plan is to re-enter the draft next year. Going back to Syracuse is an easy decision on many levels. That is where I want to be for now. I had incredible workouts with some amazing NBA organizations. However, the NBA, God willing, will be in a future chapter for me. This year, it's all about the Cuse. I'd like to send a shout-out to all the Cuse fans who supported me throughout this process, as well as my family, coaches, teammates, and Drew Hanlon." End quote. That is what Tyus Battle had to say as Tyus waited and waited and waited and waited and waited for the final possible moment almost to tell the world that he's coming back to Syracuse. And the irony of it all is that there's a post on Instagram, and the post stated that he had unfinished business and that he wasn't done yet. He was coming back to Syracuse. Then that post mysteriously disappeared. So you thought he was coming back, maybe not, coming back, maybe not, coming back. It just kept going back and forth all day long, driving people absolutely insane until ultimately he said, "I am coming back to Syracuse, and this is where I'm going to be." I put up a post yesterday that said, "I understand Syracuse fans want Tyus Battle to come back. What I don't want is any hate rhetoric sent Tyus's way if he chooses to go to the NBA. We all have opinions, but as I talked about on the show yesterday, freedom of speech is not the freedom to attack someone. Whatever Tyus chooses is his decision. Respect it." And many people are happy this morning, but if he didn't choose Syracuse, I hope you would have been just as nice, just as calm, just as positive as you are this morning. It's great to get good news, but you always have to know that respecting somebody is the only way to go. Orange Avenger said he made the decision that was right for him and his family. Yay, glad he's back. Many people are, good sir. Many people are. Tyus Battle is back in the Cuse for one more season, and he is helping this Orange team to create some depth and some opportunity across the board here as they get prepared to make another run. Now, I find it really funny, the things that people say, like, oh, if Tyus doesn't come back, then this team's not going to do this, and this team's not going to do that, and yada, yada, yada. And they said the same thing about Darius Baisley. Now that Darius Baisley isn't on the team isn't going to win, and they're not going to do that. There's always naysayers that always, anything, any little thing. Jim Boeheim stubs his toe. Well, they're not going to win 6 games this year. There's always those people. Then there's people like me who are insane, who said a few years ago that Syracuse is a really good team that could win the ACC, and they went to the Final Four, and everybody thought that I was nutsy Fagan over here, and guess what? Papa was right. So, you never know, but I always err on the side of, why don't you believe in some people working really hard toward a common goal? And, you look at what you see. What you see is what you get. And these Syracuse teams that are counted out and disrespected and underappreciated, they kick some high tail. Well, this year, this team is not going to be disrespected and underappreciated, I would think. And with the return of Tyus Battle, I would imagine that Syracuse is back in the way too early top 25. And that they are in a position right, and I said this, I said if Tyus Battle comes back to this team with all the depth they have, I believe that this team can get farther than the Sweet 16. And I do believe that. I do believe that still to this day. If Tyus Battle comes back, which he has, this team could be a Final Four team. Look at the depth that they have. Everybody came back except for Matthew Moyer, and Matthew Moyer hardly played. So everybody came back, and I don't say that with any disrespect. I'm stating an obvious fact. Matthew Moyer did not affect the wins and losses that Syracuse had. So him not being on the team as the only person that's not there anymore doesn't affect the team's ability to win games, is what I'm trying to say. I'm sad that he's gone in the sense of the fact that I knew how supportive he was of Syracuse and the decision and being a part of this team, but ultimately he made a decision that was best for him that ultimately doesn't affect the team that much. Now, they were close to him and friends with him, but he did not affect wins and losses for Syracuse, so it's having two different conversations. I respect the heck out of Matthew Moyer, and at the same time, him leaving doesn't affect Syracuse's ability to win games, is what I'm saying. So, everybody's coming back. Plus, they're adding Braswell. Plus, they're adding Jalen Carey. Plus, they're adding preferred walk-on Brendan Paul. Plus, they're adding Buddy Boeheim. So they have depth at every single position. Oh, and this guy Elijah Hughes, who had to sit out because he transferred last year, he's got 3 seasons of eligibility coming from East Carolina as well. So Syracuse has depth at every single position right now. Every single position they have depth. At center, at forward, at point guard, at shooting guard, they have depth all over the court right now. This guy named O'Shea Brissett, you might know him, he decided to come back too. So Syracuse is in a position right now where they were dangerous last year when many thought that there was no way that they were going to be dangerous at all. There's no way that they deserved to be in the tournament and yada, yada. I had them in as an 11-seed play-in game, and they were an 11-seed play-in game. I had them exactly where they ended up going. I thought that the committee thought maybe we should put them in, but we can't guarantee them a spot because we don't think they've done enough, and that's exactly what they did. And they made it to the Sweet 16. So I think the committee made the right decision. When you come into the NCAA tournament as a play-in team, as a team, and then people want to make all these comments about how you don't deserve to be there, and then you make it to the Sweet 16 out of 351 schools, I think that that's the time that all those talking heads need to shut up and say that they were wrong. And some of them do, most of them don't. The overwhelming majority of them don't. I still don't think Syracuse was supposed to be there. Or Syracuse stole somebody's spot in the Sweet 16 because the committee let them in. I love that one. When you win games and beat teams, what is the remark? Well, Syracuse only won and only beat teams because the committee let them in. That doesn't even make any sense. The committee let them in, and you said they didn't deserve to be in, and then they proved that they deserved to be in, and now you're saying that they didn't deserve to be in because they didn't prove it, but they just proved it. So what you're really saying is you hate Syracuse, your personal is taking over your professional, and you can't differentiate between the two, and you would break the cardinal sin of not being impartial for the sake of hating a team. And so you've legitimately told the world that they shouldn't listen to you anyways, because you can't differentiate between your personal feelings and the truth. You know, and that's a crazy thing about it. Now, I am from Syracuse, born and raised. I grew up watching Syracuse. I grew up around the Dome. But you know how honest I am about this team. If I think they're going to win, I'll say it. If I don't think they're going to win, I'll say it. And that's been since day zero on the radio with the Dan Tortora show on ESPN 630, 1240, and 96.1 FM in Scranton, Pennsylvania when they were playing UConn. And I went on the air and I said, they're not going to win this game. and I mean, that's how it's been all the way through. You got to tell the truth and you got to be honest. I have Syracuse at 6-6 for football this year, but that's being generous. I think that it's more likely they could be 4-8 again or 5-7. 6-6 is the absolute best I see them being right now. So, to the people that call me a homer, I don't think homers pick their home teams to be 6-6 or 5-7. I think they pick them to be 12-0 every year. So, Tyus is back, and this Syracuse team is hella dangerous, is what I posted yesterday, and it's very true. Now, they were dangerous last year, and what am I basing this on? You know, Mr. Tortora, what are you basing? Why do you think Syracuse is going to be dangerous this year? Well, I'll answer that question. Thank you for asking. The answer to that question of why is Syracuse dangerous this year is that they were dangerous last year without the help. They were dangerous last year having to play 40 minutes for Tyus Battle and 40 minutes for O'Shea Brissett and 40 minutes for Frank Coward. Now they have a break. Now these guys can sit and watch the game and go, oh, when I'm going, now I see what that guy's doing. Oh, now I can watch him here on the sideline for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and I can see, like, when I'm going to my right, this is what he does. Or this is how, I mean, the thing is, you learn a lot on the court, you learn a lot watching as well. And the guys couldn't watch last year because there was nobody to take their place. So they had to play. You know, Barama Sidibe played injured all last year. All of last year. And still did some good things. A healthy Barama Sidibe can change the game for Syracuse. Pascal Chukwu, he had to play and he's got to play the rest of his time in basketball with those protective eye goggles on. And I know that, you know, people want to talk about centers can't catch the ball and this, that, and the other. He put the ball on the floor. The man was the second best free throw shooter on the team. The second best. He's 7'2". So you have a free throw shooter who can touch the hand of God, and you have a good free throw shooter that can touch the hand of God, and then you have Tyus Battle returning. You have Frank Howard, who wasn't asked to ever be an offensive player. Then all of a sudden he was asked to be an offensive player, and look at what he did with it. It shot more and improved his shooting percentage while he shot more. You couple that in with the fact that Buddy Boeheim's coming in with his ability to shoot and wants to show that he's more than that. Then you bring in a guy like Brendan Paul, who's a preferred walk-on, who is best friends with Buddy Boeheim, who played at Brewster Academy with Buddy Boeheim, so don't forget that name, just in case. Then you have Elijah Hughes, who was on the team and got to watch last year, and the coaches were singing his praises of what he was doing in practice and that how he changed his body weight and how he changed things as he moved forward during the season as he's watching from the sideline. And then you take and you add in the fact that O'Shea Brissett is back on the team and most likely will enter his name into the NBA draft after his sophomore season this upcoming season. And then Braswell comes in, and you have him added to the team, and you have Jalen Carey who's added to the team, who's been through a lot of heartache with his sister passing away and everything and where he's grown up. So the game of basketball to him is not as hard as the game of life. So you have that coming in with a man that's been taught a lot of things at a very young age, who can bring a lot to the table. So you have all of that coming, and a Hall of Fame coach is going to take over his 43rd season. I think Syracuse is going to be okay. So why do I think that this team could be something this year? Because they were something last year when nobody thought that they were capable of being anything last year. Very few thought that, and look at what they did with it. With that being said, it's time to get Alan Griffin on the line. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is a wake-up call, fast break.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or ice milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Clothing that will change with you without you having to change. DreisigLady.com, DREISSIG Lady.com. With the Bamboo line Relax Fit clothing as well as the Athletic Fit clothing, DreisigLady.com is fit for any woman, any time of the day, anywhere. Whatever you're doing, whatever your day commands of you, command yourself to feel comfortable in Dreisig Lady Apparel. DREISSIG Lady.com. For all the women out there, feel good in what you're wearing. And don't feel like you have to constantly change throughout the day. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, a business owner, going for a jog, going for a meeting, or just relaxing at home, DreisigLady.com is the right fit for you.
This is Lawrence Papaleo, licensed real estate salesperson for Gilbo Realty. Call our home office at 315-752-9513, or better yet, call or text me directly at 315-748-2524.
Let me ask you a question, Lawrence. If I needed you to help me buy a house, find the right place, could you help me do that?
Joe, I'll help you find your dream home.
You don't ever say my name on the radio, never. If I needed to sell a house, could you help me go about that the right way?
Yes, I can.
How do they get a hold of you?
Call me directly at 315-748-2524.
But you also do the commercial property. So if I got a business, couple businesses, got to take one here, move it over there, do this, do that, are you going to help me buy and sell my commercial property also?
Yes, sir.
I like that. What's my name again?
I have no idea.
Absolutely, but they need to know your name, so give it one more time.
This is Lawrence Papaleo, licensed real estate salesperson for Gilbo Realty. My phone number is 315-748-2524.
Why don't you tell them your name one more time and that number so we can jot it down?
This is Lawrence Papaleo. Call me or text me directly at 315-748-2524.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And as we were just speaking about before that fast break, Tyus Battle is back, has decided to spend his junior season with the Syracuse Orange, and automatically helps them out once again this season with their depth and their ability to move forward and do something pretty special here, as he will join Frank Howard in the backcourt one more time, and this will most likely be Tyus's final go, and it will be Frank's, as Frank is a senior. And with that being said, assistant coach Alan Griffin is on the show this morning live, and we appreciate him taking some time with us coming off of that decision by Tyus Battle. Alan, how you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Now, Tyus is back, so obviously as an assistant coach of this team, just what you can say about what that does for the culture of the team moving forward.
I mean, when you get a chance to add him back 20 points a game, more importantly, great kid to a culture that Coach Boeheim's is continue to grow. It's an unbelievable thing for us. I think we're all ecstatic. Me, I can talk for myself here. I'm very happy to being a part of the program, especially now with everything that's going on. I think the future is bright. is one big piece to our future. I mean, some people might think it's just one more year, but it gives us a cushion where, some of our freshmen and guys, it takes a little bit of the pressure off them, and they can kind of really gradually grow into who they're going to become on this stage, college basketball. And it's just a big announcement for us. And, again, we're ecstatic.
And when we look at this, I mean, Syracuse, obviously, with everything that came down from the NCAA's punishment, having to deal with less scholarships per year and trying to put a team together, and within that time, Malachi moving forward and Tyler Lyde moving forward and Torian Thompson leaving and whatnot. Just what you could say. I know you've only been back for this past season, but just how well you think Syracuse has navigated this roster restructuring with everything that happened.
Obviously a lot of it has to, Coach Braham has to get a lot of credit. One thing he didn't do is panic. He was taking what was given to him, and he molded it into, a Sweet 16 team. Not a lot of programs in the country can do that, and that's exactly why he's in the Hall of Fame. On top of, we have a first-class administration who, they trusted in Coach, and knowing that Coach knows what he has to do in order to be a successful team and put a successful team out there. So I think it's just a first-class place, and I think our administration did a great job of just being patient. And Coach, again, I thought Coach, for the thing that he did last year with this team, putting us in the Sweet 16, helping us get to the Sweet 16, shows that, again, he's a Hall of Famer, and he should have been in high consideration for Coach of the Year for what he was given.
And then as far as speaking here with Alan Griffin, Syracuse men's basketball assistant coach, with coaching the bigs, primarily with Brahmas Adibe, just what you could say about him. I mean, the man played injured all season long, had to go through that. Told me at the end of the season that he was heading toward surgery. Just what you could say about Brahma and where he's at right now.
Brahma's a warrior, very confident kid. Confident in his abilities, and the best thing about him is he's a team guy. When he was sitting there, when he wasn't playing, I sat next to him a bunch of times in the games, and when guys came off the bench or when guys came to the bench, I mean, he was the first guy up, congratulating, but also patting on the back saying, hey, listen, next play. So, he's a great kid, and, his progress, I think our medical staff over at the university has done an excellent job. I think, right now I'm not 100% sure exactly where he is in terms of his timeline, but he's out shooting with me and some of the managers, and he'll get on the gun and shoot, form shooting, no jumping, no moving, just straight out form shooting, which will help him, in terms of him getting better for next year. But he's moving along, I think, pretty good. But again, I can't really talk on his timeline because, I leave that up to the guys that, knows that best.
And as far as Pascal Chukwu, just what you could say about him. I mean, this is a guy who, and unfortunately a lot of centers or a lot of bigs in Syracuse catch a lot of flack, but, I like to remind people that he was, in my opinion, the second best free throw option on the team last season, and he's 7'2", so that's kind of unheard of, rarely done by guys in the States here, and I think that what he's been able to do with his game, especially there and in crunch time, he's been a big part of a lot of these games and closing out these games, including the game against Michigan State. So with that being said, just what you could say about Pascal and how you respond to, the outside noise, so to speak, knowing that he's obviously better than what he gets credit for.
Yeah, you can't worry about that. I mean, all I worry about is Pascal. I see him every day in practice, obviously in games also too. Again, another kid that's really good, a really good kid, the one thing is Pascal works when he gets there. When he's on the court, he's a worker in practice, and I just think the Syracuse community should expect a big year from Pascal. I think what people don't really understand is that he's been out for 2 years. He was out for 2 years. This is his first full year back, and in those games that he played, and he played well. it's a spotlight of who he can be. He just got to go out there and be confident. Sometimes he lacked the confidence in these games, and that's expected, especially coming off of 2 years. But just getting this year under his belt, we expect big things from Pascal next year.
And to look at the roster as a whole, with Matthew Moyer being the only person leaving, Elijah Hughes has the opportunity to be versatile for the team. Howard Washington, obviously his timeline on getting better as well, but he seems in positive spirits. O'Shea Brissett, Pascal Chukwu, who we just spoke about, Barama Sidibe, who we spoke about, Marek Dolezaj, Frank Howard, Tyus Battle, all of that coming back to the team on top of the fact that Buddy Boeheim is coming in, that Braswell is coming in, that preferred walk-on Brendan Paul's coming in, Buddy Boeheim. Just what you can say about the depth that this team potentially can have next year at every single position for 2018-19. And as an assistant coach, when you see this team on paper, just what it kind of speaks to you about the environment that you will have in practice.
Well, you forgot one big piece too is Jalen Carey, who.
Oh yes, yeah. Yeah, I'm running through all these names, and he's going to kill me for that because him and I just had a really good conversation. But yes, Jalen as well.
Can't forget about Jalen. Jalen is going to be a unbelievable player for us. And getting to your question, the more the merrier, so to speak. Practices is going to be really intense. It's going to be highly competitive, and that's what you want. And guys are going to go out there and fight for what they believe that they should get, and that's any competitive nature that any competitive environment. Guys are going to fight, and that's what as a coach you look forward to. So I'm really looking forward to some of the battles. Last year, I think our guys battled as hard as they can, but limited because of the numbers that we had. So we expect a really competitive. It's going to start in the summertime. It don't start when practice starts. It starts in the summer. When all our guys come back, summer 2, and we incorporate some of the freshmen. We got open gyms for those guys, and obviously we can't watch as coaches, but those guys will start to learn, especially our young guys, learn how to compete. They're going to be veterans. They're going to be waiting for those guys. As soon as they come on, they're going to teach these guys, hey, listen, you got to bring it. This is not high school no more. But also, too, in the weight room, you got to compete in the weight room. So it's just going to be a competitive nature from day one, and it starts this summer. And I'm really, really, really excited to see it for next year.
A conversation before I let you go, Alan, that I think needs to be had is what this backcourt has. Now that Tyus will be a junior, Frank will be a senior, I know that there's other guys coming in to build some depth there, but just what you can say about this backcourt and what it has done. I mean, Frank was asked to be more of an offensive player last season than he was the first 2 seasons combined. His shooting percentage went up, and he took care of business. Tyus Battle had to take exactly double the amount of shots last year that he took as a freshman, and Tyus Battle had some of those big-time shots at the end of games that helped that separation be there, and is obviously somebody that teams had to key in on. So when you look at Frank and you look at Tyus, as well as what they were able to do defensively and help out there as well at the top of the 2-3 zone, what can you say about now this veteran, kind of grizzled backcourt, just what that does?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, it will be the most experienced backcourt in the country with those 2 guys. Given said that, hopefully that, gives us an advantage going into games knowing that we have that in our backcourt. And adding, Elijah Hughes to that backcourt, adding Buddy Boeheim to that backcourt. I'm not going to forget, like you did, Jalen Carey to that backcourt.
You're not right, Alan. You're right.
Adding these guys to the backcourt just helps. I mean, because they all bring something different. I can go in depth with Elijah Hughes. We'll be able to bring in an attacking guard who has the ability to make shots from the outside, which gives us another guy like Tyson, like Frank. Jalen Carey is a talented guard who can play both positions and who will be able to, give us an added punch, especially off the bench to start at either position, and he can make shots, but also he can mix it up by going to the basket and find another. So, and a very unselfish kid. And then you add a lethal shooter and Buddy Boeheim, who can really stick it, and who's continuing to get better and better and better each day. So, when you got that depth, and all these guys add something different, they can bring something different to the table. It gives Coach Boeheim, a lot of, really, really good options to the mix. So it's going to be very interesting, but very competitive again, and it's going to be good for us, and the university and the fan base here, that they can see a really complete team go out there and hopefully make a further run than we did than last year.
Tyus Battle, just what when I say Tyus, the first things that come to your mind about the type of kid he is. Let's start there before we talk about his game and whatnot. Just what you can say when I say Tyus Battle. What do you think about as far as who he is as a person?
Humble. I think humble, and this is who he is since day one, since the day I met him. You got a lot of guys out there that's in Tyus' position in college basketball, in the NBA, any youth basketball. They scoring a lot of points. They're the face of the program, so forth. So, and sometimes they're very into themselves. Whereas too, when you talk to Tyus, when you get to know Tyus, that's the furthest you think about when you meet him. He's a total team guy, a great kid, and I'm just ecstatic that I'm able to being around him again for another year. To hopefully we can go out and compete and get to the Final Four and win a national championship with him.
And then, secondly, about his game, two-part question. First and foremost, what are the best things in your opinion about Tyus' game? And then, secondly, what areas would you like to see him improve the most on?
I'll start with the last question first. I think efficiency all across the board. I think with the depth that we have now, and bringing a guy like Elijah into the mix, and Mariah getting better, Tyus doesn't have to take so many tough shots, especially into the shot clock type shots. So that'll help his percentage. But his percentages across the board, from his free throw percentage to his three-point percentage to his field goal percentage. I think if we can put him in situations to be successful, I think all three of those percentages will go up. And obviously just doing some other stuff like rebounding the basketball a little bit more, and just being aggressive on both ends. I think if he could, in a perfect world, he could put all this stuff together. You'll see a much improved Tyus in a guy that scored 20 points in the game. Like, that scored 20 points a game. So it could be scary on, if he can improve those little things, how good he can be. And we all thought he was really good last year, and then going to his game, I think he's a attacking, athletic guard who can do it in both ways. Making shots from the outside, but also, getting the ball to the basket. I thought towards the end of the year, he showed a lot of versatility in being able to play make for others. If you go back, watching the NCAA tournament, because of foul trouble and because of fatigue a little bit, we took Frank off the ball, and Tyus was able to have the ball in his hands, as the primary ball handler who started the offense, and Tyus made some really good things happen. Our offense flowed, continued to flow well, and it was just a good thing to show. So I think he's a versatile attacking guard that can do a lot.
That coming from Alan Griffin, Syracuse Orange men's basketball assistant coach, and Alan, for you, as an assistant coach, when he's going and he's meeting with these teams and he's having these private workouts and whatnot, are you kind of just sitting there like everybody else? I mean, is that how it kind of goes down? I mean, does Tyus or at least the family keep in touch, or is it relatively quiet during the process?
During the process, I think his dad, Gary Battle, was unbelievable in communicating with Coach, and obviously Coach getting the message to us as assistants. Through the process, I think, Coach, gave Tyus and the family his blessing and said, hey, listen, this could be good for you. Go out and test. That's fine. And Gary Battle, who's Tyus' dad, was in constant communication with him. And it was just, we never felt out of the loop. Myself and Coach Autry, we went to Chicago to see Tyus compete in the combine. And so we never felt out of the loop. Tyus, we kind of stayed away from Tyus a little bit. We had, for him to concentrate on what he had upcoming. All we relied on is the communication from his family, which, again, Gary was unbelievable, and went through Coach. And from Coach, it kind of got to us. And it's just we never felt out of the loop. So, when it came down to crunch time, we wasn't panicking because we didn't hear nothing from nobody. We just said, Tyus is going to really think this thing through, and then we'll have an answer by the deadline. And I think we all understood that, and that was the way the process went. And again, a lot of credit to him and his family, Tyus and his family, because, again, they were first class in this whole situation. And I'm not just saying that because the kid came back. I would say that if the kid kept his name in the draft. They were very, very, very first class with this, very, 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 in communication with us. And that's all we can ask for. And we really appreciate everything.
And as far as, like you said, you went out and saw him at the Combine. What did you take away from it? There was mixed reviews from depending on who you spoke with. What did you take away from it?
I took away from it, does Tyus belong? 100%, absolutely. I think the atmosphere, it was hard. You got, I don't know, 60 guys. I don't know how many guys, 70 guys competing for 60 spots. And that's not even including, the European players, the players that didn't compete in the Combine in terms of playing. It just was a very, the setting was, it was hard. It was a hard setting. But the one thing that you took away from it in terms of the strength and conditioning part, that, Coach Kabilis and our system is up there, because in terms of testing, Tyus tested really well. And that we know what we're doing over here in terms of when we're getting our guys prepared for that next level. So from a testing perspective, from the game I watched, he didn't play particularly well in the first game. Supposedly I wasn't there, and I just read what they read. I talked to Coach Autry very briefly on it, but then the second day when I was there, he scored about 12 points, grabbed about 3 or 4 rebounds, played really good defense, played really good man-to-man defense, which everybody kills us on, but I thought he really competed on defense well from a man-to-man perspective. I thought he played well, and I thought that when you look at Tyus, I thought he looked the part. So again, sometimes you have to really take a step back and look at the whole picture, and I think Tyus felt like he had a lot to gain by coming back to college, and that was his decision, and we're really ecstatic again to have him.
That coming from Alan Griffin, Syracuse University men's basketball assistant coach. Alan, I appreciate you taking some time with us live this morning on Wake Up Call, and now that you have razzed me on the show, I have to remember that I picked a nice picture for you. I'm getting a baby picture next time and putting it up there.
No. You know what? That was part of, the last couple of times of the picture, you had a bad picture. I didn't have a haircut. I'm balding, so sometimes I have hair. Sometimes it's showing my bald spots. Like, you got to pick a good picture for me. And the picture that you put up today was a great picture because I had a haircut, and it was a good shot of me. So yeah, I had to get you back for that. Just remember we have Jalen Curry, okay? And you know what? I'm gonna let you go on this one.
Go ahead.
And you forgot to mention we do also have a kid, Robert Braswell, in the mix.
Oh no, I said that. I said Braswell.
Yeah,
I said Braswell.
We gotta rewind the tape. But I'm just messing with you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you having me on, and we'll talk later.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to the family, and I'm finding that baby picture, so it's just that's just gonna happen. But you'll have hair back then, so maybe you'll like it.
Yeah, you know what? I was a cute baby anyway, so go ahead. It's okay. I just got ugly as an adult, so don't worry about it.
No. You're staying pretty, Alan. You're staying pretty. It's all good. But thank you as always, and I look forward to talking with you soon. All right, take care. That coming from Alan Griffin once again. Man, he's always razzing me, man. We got to razz each other. That's how life goes, man. You only razz people that you like. So with that being said, Alan Griffin, Syracuse Orange men's basketball assistant coach. He's awesome. And speaking with us this morning on Tyus Battle's return to Syracuse, when everybody woke up this morning and thought they were going to see snow again. And not just because it snows all the time in Syracuse, not just because it snowed for 6 months in Syracuse all the way to the end of April, but because Christmas came just a little bit early when Tyus ended up on the sleigh that came back to Syracuse. With that being said, we'll take a step aside for a fast break. Katie Kolinski's coming on the show. You know the segment, starting a little bit behind here this morning with this one, but typically at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Katie Kolinski coaching with class. She spent 7 years under Jim Boeheim, and she spent a lot of time with Tyus. She'll be speaking on Tyus' return as well in just a moment.
This is a wake-up call, Fast Break.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And as we always do on Thursday mornings in the first hour of the show, we have Coaching with Class, which is a segment dedicated to Katie Kolinski and what she's done over the last 7 years under Jim Boeheim at Syracuse and where she goes from here with whatever opportunity presents itself that she ends up taking at this point. We look forward to her future and what's to come. And with that being said, we welcome her back to the show. Katie, how you doing today?
Good. How's it going?
Doing well. You're back on you're back on normal time right now. How long did it take your body to readjust?
I don't even think I'm still used to the time difference yet. It's a lot different, obviously, being West Coast and East Coast.
Yeah, it's definitely different. What was your biggest thing that you took away from being off on the West Coast? I know you got to be around Mike Hopkins in Washington, and I know that you got to obviously spend a lot of time with Breanna Stewart, which she's got a pretty good T-shirt game. I'll say that much with some of the stuff she put up. But what can you say about your experience over there and what you took away from it?
Yeah, I think it was cool. I really enjoyed being able to spend some time with Bree over the 11 days because she's like one of the best players in the whole country, for women's basketball, and just seeing how she approaches the game every day, and I got to go to a couple of her games and practice, and she's just like on a different level with her mindset and how she approaches everything. So it was kind of cool to see how she kind of operates on a day to day. I thought that was what I could take away from that.
All right, we can hear you, but it's kind of low, so we're going to try and pull you in a little bit better here so we can hear you. But just what you can say about this now that we know. I know you and I spoke about it a little bit yesterday, but the kind of sit and wait thing, and like you said, you respect the guys, and you give them their time, and you don't bother them and whatnot. In the case of like Tyus Battle or anybody who's made a decision, I know you've obviously been there when Dion Waiters and Tyler Ennis and Tyler Lydon, Malachi Richardson and whatnot, a lot of these guys deciding to leave early. Tyus decided to come back. What did you think about that?
I was actually surprised. I was not expecting that. I thought the whole time that he was going to stay in, just since he went through the whole process and he took so long to let everyone know. I was definitely surprised, but I'm actually really happy for him because I think the year back with, Syracuse will be great for him, and, they should have a top 10 team next year, and, it'll be a lot of exposure for, a lot of guys, and, I think they'll be able to make a far attorney run next year, so he'll get even more exposure, So I think it's exciting. I think it's finally, a lot of Syracuse fans all season have been upset or sad or here we go again or, how it goes. So I feel like it's a lot of excitement now, back, like how it used to be. It'll probably be the best team they've had in a couple, maybe 3 years or so. So I think it's really exciting.
And you said, you were surprised because he took so long to let everybody know, so that surprised you. What do you think about what he can be, kind of his best attributes, for the NBA as he moves forward? We know he's coming back for his junior season, but to kind of look a little bit to the future here, what is the NBA getting with a player like Tyus?
I think Tyus will end up being a great player in the NBA. He can score at all 3 levels. His jump shot, I think his jump shot will get there too. I think it'll be a little bit more consistent next year. He won't have to take as much load on offense as he did this year. So I think his efficiency will definitely go up, and I think he'll end up being a really good defender too. I think he has all the tools to be a really good defender. I think, when it's all said and done, he'll definitely have a good NBA career also. And, hopefully next year he'll be able to work on, being even more efficient shooting. And, once he gets his jump shot down, I think it'll be hard to guard Tyus at the next level.
And, to see this, I mean, like, you were a part of so many teams with so many players who decided at Syracuse to leave early. And like you said, being surprised that he is coming back. What does it do for this team now that O'Shea is back? Obviously, Frank is back for his senior season. Tyus is back. Everybody's back except for Matthew Moyer, who really didn't play a lot of minutes on the team. So we look at, who's back on this team. We look at the big 3 that were playing 40 minutes with O'Shea and Tyus and Frank. We look at the fact that Jalen Carey is coming onto the team, that Braswell is coming in, that Buddy Boeheim is coming in. And you see all of this that is entering. Elijah Hughes is going to have an opportunity to play now. Even Brendan Paul, who I got an opportunity to speak with, spoke on the fact that, as a preferred walk-on, he could have an opportunity coming up in the future potentially. So there's obviously depth on this team, and just what you can say about what the season looks like now, because nobody wanted to give Syracuse any credit last season outside of the show, and here they are, at Sweet 16 with everybody coming back. I would imagine that the stage is set for something pretty special this year.
Yeah, I thought even if Tyus didn't come back, I still thought they were a top 15 team. But I think with him coming back, I think, they're even better. And I think the X factor for next season, which is a little different from, this year, is I think Elijah Hughes adds that extra dimension that, we might have been lacking this year. He has that, I think he can score, 10 points a game or more, and he can shoot it. And, there was a point in the season where he was actually running offense with our first five, and the ball just moved a lot more. He was just, because he can cut, he can play away from the ball, he can set screens, he knows how to play. So I think adding him to our offense next year will be the X factor. And then you have someone like Jalen Carey, who's a true point guard who can score it, and he's great at passing. So I think he'll be able to set our offense up next year. And you have obviously Buddy who can shoot it, and Marek's only going to get bigger and stronger, and O'Shea's only going to get better. And, I think once O'Shea gets his jump shot to be a little bit more knocked down, I think he's going to be great. So I think the team is just complete next year, and then you still have Pascal anchor in the zone, and Barama's going to be healthy finally, and, I think it's a lot of excitement, and then, Frank's a senior, so, it'll be time for him to take that next step, too. So I just think, it's a lot of excitement, and I think Elijah's going to be that X factor for sure.
And you speak on Elijah being an X Factor. Katie Kolinski here, coaching with class, special segment that you'll hear on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Thursday right around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. What is it about Elijah's game that is so special? Because you're not the first person on this staff that has spoken so highly of Elijah Hughes, about what his body was when he came in, to what he's done with his body, to how versatile he could be and play in the backcourt or the front court. I've heard a lot of great things about Elijah. I had the opportunity to speak to him before he came into Syracuse, coming from East Carolina. What is it about him that makes him an X factor, in your opinion? What are the things about his game that you're most excited about?
Yeah, I think Elijah just, one, he loves the game of basketball. He's always watching basketball videos. He's always in the gym at night. He's always doing what he can extra, and he's such a hard worker, and it's hard to guard him because he's just so strong. He can play the 3-4 too, and I feel like you can use him at all those positions, and it'll be hard for some teams to be able to match up against him at certain positions because he's just so big and strong, and he can expose a lot of people, and the fact he can shoot the ball really well, so he can score all three levels too. He can shoot it, he can take you off the dribble. I think he'll be able to be good in our zone, and like I said, I think he can just play away from the ball. He doesn't need the ball in his hands to be able to make things happen on offense. So, he can cut, he can set screens, he can play away from the ball, and, then when the ball is in his hands, he can make plays. So, I think that's why he's such an X factor, because he's going to open up the whole offense. Now you add that other dimension where you have, obviously Frank who can score it at any time, Tyus, O'Shea, but now you add Elijah, and then you have someone like Mark who's going to be able to, shoot the ball better, and Barama's offense is only going to get better too. So I think it's just going to be finally a complete offensive team, like we used to have a couple, maybe 3-4 years ago, and I think it's just going to be a lot different. And then obviously Jalen, who can do so much too. I think the team's just going to be really complete next year, and I think they're going to be really exciting to watch. And then obviously everyone already knows the defense, which that's the biggest learning curve, is our defense, and the fact that they all played it so well all year. And now at the offense dimension, I think it's going to be a completely different team.
Yeah, when we look at this roster, we look at the fact that Elijah, even though he didn't play, he practiced with the team all year long, has been with the team for a year. Howard Washington, coming back from injury, he's been with the team for a year. O'Shea, obviously 40 minutes, is coming back as a sophomore. Pascal is coming back to this team, and after having played a full season with the team. Marek Dolezaj got better with time as a true freshman, coming back as a sophomore. Frank's a senior and has seen a lot of great things from Syracuse throughout history. Tyus Battle's coming back as a junior, creating a very, very well-seasoned backcourt for Syracuse. Barama played the entire season injured and did some good things. Now he's going to be looking to, be back hopefully on time and be healthy and move forward. So when we see this, we're looking at a team, Katie, that, obviously you spent days with, days upon days with, and we're adding in Jalen Carey and adding in the Buddy Boeheims and adding in Braswell and adding in, obviously, Elijah to the mix of being in the games. But this is a team that knew how to win with 5.5, 6 guys, that half being Barama when, if he wasn't really feeling that great that game. So 5.5, 6 players are making it happen. Now they have a roster where there's depth at every single position. Just what you could say about, what excites you about this year's team and the fact that these guys have had the experience, and like you said, the biggest learning curve is the defense, and they've all played in it that are coming back.
Yeah, I think, if you look at last season too, we were in pretty much every game, besides Duke on the road and I think Virginia at home maybe, but we were pretty much in every single game. And they even, I thought the Duke game we had a chance to win. So, you bring back a team that, possibly could have brought down Duke. It was a 2-point game at the end. They ended up making the 2 free throws and lose by 4. But I think it's just the fact that we were already in every game and, they're already going to be able to play defense the way they have been. So just adding that offensive dimension, which I think is going to be 1,000 times better. And, coach is going to be able to, coach his game where he can add so many pieces and he can do so many different things next year on offense and defense. And, he'll be able to switch things up a little bit and he won't have to use as many guys. So they're all going to be able to be fresh because you have so many pieces you can put in the game. So I think just the fact that Tyus and, Frank won't have to play 40 minutes and O'Shea won't have to play 40 minutes, it'll just be better in the long run down the road where they could, hopefully make an even longer turning run.
So I think it's fair to say that the team that people didn't want to give credit to last year just got a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting to watch next year. It's going to be good things all year.
That coming from Katie Kolinski of the Syracuse Orange of the past 7 years, was able to be on the staff under Jim Boeheim and have the opportunity to work with guys like Alan Griffin, Adrian Autry, Kip Wellman, Mike Hopkins, and the entire staff, Jerry McNamara, of course, and everybody on the strength and conditioning staff. Katie, just what you can say finally here to kind of wrap up our segment, Coaching with Class, for today, just what this team has meant to you as far as the personality of this team. We talked about the game and the depth and what they can do, but the personalities of this squad, just because this is the thing that people don't talk about enough, is the psyche of the team, the environment of the team. When they got into the tournament, the celebration was amazing, and the response was kind of a beautiful thing even before they had won a game in the tournament. So just what you could say about the personalities on the squad.
Yeah, I was saying last year, even in the beginning of the season and halfway through the season, I was like, this might be one of my favorite teams I've ever had here, just by, the guys on the team and how hard they all work, and they're just all great people. And I think the team was really together all year last year. I think they were close, there was no egos. Everyone just wanted to win. And I think that's what's going to come back next year. I think the team's going to be very close. I think Frank and Tyus are going to be great leaders. I think O'Shea's a good leader, and I think they're just going to have, the leadership that they need next year. They're going to have, the experience that they need, and, they know now how to, handle, the big stage because they've been there. Everyone's been there. The Sweet 16 is a big stage. And I think just knowing how hard that team is going to work next year, and, now it's going to be a lot of competition in practice. You're going to have Jalen going at Frank, and you're going to have Howie, in there in the mix too, and, you're going to have Buddy in there competing, and you're going to have Rob competing. It's going to be great. You're going to have a lot of competition and a lot of, practices are going to be fun next year. You got a lot of guys that are going to want to, compete for some minutes, and whenever you have that, you're going to have some good things because every day is going to be a battle.
And very, very quick, because I know that obviously Tyus' decision takes up a lot of the time here this morning, so we didn't have a lot of time to talk about the NBA Finals. But 2 quick things from you: are the finals rigged? And secondly, who do you think is going to win?
Oh man, I'm tired of Golden State and Cleveland. I was hoping it'd be different this year. I'm actually I'm not even excited about the finals this year, but I think Golden State's going to win. But if LeBron can somehow pull it off, then no one can say a word about LeBron ever again.
No, I agree. I think, but I said it in the show yesterday. I said, all of a sudden, LeBron almost lost to Indiana, so people tuned in. Then LeBron's playing Toronto, who's the number 1 seed, and he can't possibly sweep them, so people tuned in. And then there's a Game 7 with Cleveland and Boston had won every game at home, so people tuned in. And Golden State was on the ropes and weren't the number 1 team in the West anymore, and they were playing Houston, and Houston stole one and Golden State stole one, so people tuned in. And ultimately, it was the same thing. So I was like, you know what? I know, and I don't want to say, I know there's some crazy conspiracy theorists out there, but I can't help but think that people that are like, hey, they just made it look a little bit tougher, but we got the same product. It's just eerie. It kind of stinks a little bit. And now, we're back to the same finals that we've seen the last couple of years. And, I'm back to saying that I think Golden State's going to kind of dictate the pace here. LeBron might get one or two, but I think that Golden State's going to obviously close the door on this. And now people are back to feeling like nothing changes.
Yeah, I don't think the finals are rigged because it's hard to rig players, who train all year and work for this, lose games and stuff. But it is kind of crazy how everything worked out. So we'll see. But I think Golden State's definitely going to win.
That coming from Katie Kolinski. Katie, as always, I appreciate the time and happy to have you back on this side of the country. And we look forward to talking with you again soon.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right, take care. That coming from Katie Kolinski, Coaching with Class, signature segment you'll only find here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, featuring Katie Kolinski, who spent 7 years with the Syracuse Orange men's basketball team on their staff, working with players like Malachi Richardson, Tyler Ennis, Tyler Lydon, Tyler Roberson, Dajuan Coleman, Baimu Cicada, Tyus Battle, Frank Howard, O'Shea Brissett, Dion Waiters, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. We always want to thank Katie for her time. She was very surprised that Tyus Battle came back. But whether you were surprised or whatever it may be, or yesterday when everybody was losing their brain because it was announced that Tyus is coming back at 5 o'clock and then there was no definitive information, and I stuck out and said, listen, until it's definitive and I trust my sources and what the hell is going on, I'm not saying a word. So I pulled everything and said, until I feel good about this, because from the people that I trust, it was not 100% done at the time that it was reported that it was 100% done. So I don't do clickbait. I don't put things on my website or say things on my show or shoot video just so that you'll watch me and listen to me, and then I hope that I'm right, but I just try to get as many people as I possibly can. That whole be first, no matter whether you're logical or illogical, right or wrong, ruin somebody's life or don't, tell the truth or tell a lie, that whole be first and just be first, why do you think I own my own company and don't work in some of the places that I worked? Because the mentality of just be first, irregardless of whether it's right or wrong, I live a moral life. I don't live that life. And that's why we're different here. So I held out and I waited until I felt good about putting it out there. And when I did, I got to share with Syracuse fans some of the greatest news that I've been able to tell in my 15-year career. Because most of the time, the guys end up going, right? This time I got to tell you somebody was coming home. We'll take a fast break, and when we come back, CNS Athletics will be on here. We did a special from Chick-fil-A Cicero, and I'm happy to be sharing that with you coming up here in just a few moments. You will hear from Amani Free of girls basketball at CNS, Lucas Merluzzi of boys basketball and football, Eric Pride of football, Jess Manili of girls lacrosse, as well as Tim Bednarski, the athletics director of CNS, and a special message from Chick-fil-A Cicero owner-operator Jimmer Sikowski, who we know and love here on the show. That's all coming up in just a moment after this fast break.
This is a wake-up call fast break.
For all of us that have always wanted our favorite restaurant to come to us, it's now a reality in Central New York with It's a Utica Thing, with Utica Pizza Company bringing their wonderful recipes that they've handed down through generations to you, to your event, to your business, to your home. It's a Utica Thing, proudly bringing Utica Pizza Company on wheels to your location. Call 315-738-8946. That's 315-738-8946 to bring Utica Pizza Company to your doorstep with It's a Utica Thing.
Hi, this is Domenico Vitali, owner of Giovanni's Formal Wear, where you look great and feel even better with our renowned tailoring and alteration services on any suit or any tuxedo from anywhere. Call 315-455-8729. That's 315-455-8729. Stop in locally on Route 11 in North Syracuse, next to the Ponderosa Plaza, where you can choose your style, get fitted, and tailored, all at Giovanni's Formal Wear.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Utica Pizza Company spells family. Your family, my family, their family. The recipes that they have shared with each other throughout the years and have now been so gracious to share them with us. I can sit here and talk with you about all the great things that are on the menu. We'd be here forever. So let me say this. Utica Pizza Company is second to none. And now you can bring it home with you and you can dine in the restaurant. UticaPizzaCompany.com will give you all the information that you need. And let me say, these Utica greens, they're the best. Utica Pizza Company. Call them and place your order at 315-214-3060. That's 315-214-3060. Families break bread at Utica Pizza Company.
All right, welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora live on location. We are here with the CNS North Stars. This is a remarkable athlete segment, the Senior Spotlight. So for everybody in here, can you please give a round of applause for these student athletes that are here for you today? Show them some love. We want to thank Jimmer Sikowski, the owner and operator of Chick-fil-A, and we're very happy to be here with Tim Bednarski, the athletics director of CNS, as well as Jess Manili, who will be heading off hopefully some more games to play here and something else here with CNS Girls Lacrosse as we move forward, and we'll be heading to Lemoyne after this. To my right, Amani Free, and I think the first time I met Amani, she was maybe like 3'5", and you're a little bit taller than that right now, Amani. So Amani moving on to Quinnipiac for girls basketball. Eric Pride, who played on the football team here, will be moving forward as well to Alfred at running back, and Lucas Merluzzi will be heading on to Stony Brook at the wide receiver position, and we are happy to be here with you today. This is how it's going to run. We're going to talk about each of the sports respectively and have Tim speak on being the athletics director over at CNS right around the corner. Then in the second part of the show, I put you all on the hot seat with a thing called Rapid Fire, where I'll ask you a bunch of questions that have nothing to do with the world of sports. And then in all fairness to you, I put myself on the hot seat in round 3, and you guys can ask me anything you want, and I have to answer it. So with that being said, Tim, I'm going to start with you. What it means to you to have these remarkable athletes, and I know that there's so many remarkable athletes at CNS, but for the ones that we have here today for the Senior Spotlight, just what you could say, what it means to be the athletics director over at CNS.
Well, I guess it's a dream job. You know, these four are sitting here for a reason. You know, not only athletically, but the way they carry themselves in the school and the community. First class, and obviously on the field and on the court, you know, speaks volume of them as well. So for me, you know, it's awesome. Every day I get to watch these guys play and compete, and you know, the other thing, the bottom line is they're good kids and they're fun to be around. So they make you laugh and have a good time at work. So
I'm going to stay on this side, Jess. Your team got that W yesterday to continue to move on. Just what you could say about continuing this season with girls lacrosse at CNS.
In the beginning, it was kind of rough. Like, we weren't clicking like we did last year, but we're finally getting together. Like, we're finally playing as a team. So as long as we keep doing that, I think we'll be good. And we had just a couple months ago girls lacrosse here at Chick-fil-A Cicero, and we got to speak with some of your teammates. What can you say you've learned? Like you said, it took a little bit of time to get going this year. What was it that maybe made things a little bit rocky in the beginning, but ultimately got you to where you are today? It's like a team sport, so if there's one player that's like not in it, it kind of affects everyone. So it just, like, the positivity, it just has to be there all the time. That coming from Jess Manili. Lucas, I'm going to go to you for this one to speak on this football season and the basketball season. You had the opportunity to be a part of both.
let's start with football and just what you could say you took away from this last run with CNS.
You know, it was a remarkable season coming off of our season before that, our junior year, where we came up short in the sectional final to Christian Brothers Academy, and then we eventually, you know, we worked hard in the off season. Everybody came together as a team. You know, we struggled a little bit with camaraderie right at the beginning, and then we brought it all together in the end. That's how we got our run.
What brought it all together in the end for you? What can you say brought the team closer when you needed it?
I mean, we had friendship. Everybody knew each other. Everybody talked. Everybody was like that. The coaches were together. We had a great bond with everyone.
And Eric, I want to go to you to speak on the same thing. When you look at the football side of things, just what you took away from this last run.
I took a lot away. Not only did it mature me in the classroom, but it matured me as a man, because the coaches and the staff of the athletic directory helped me through everything since my injury through sophomore year when I broke my femur, and then till now, like how far we went, and I forgot our first sectional title. So it was a lot, and we had a great chemistry.
When you look at having that injury to your femur, just what, I mean, that adversity that you have to take personally, just what that did for you as an individual and how that helped you to appreciate the time on the field even more.
Yeah, it definitely did, and it taught me ambition, you know, to never give up, and, you know, football is a team sport, so, like, I couldn't give up on my team after sophomore year and not finish my 2 years off.
And to Imani, I want to say, it's been years. I want to say, what, 5 years ago? Maybe we met? Yeah. Dad would know, maybe 5, 6, something like that. And you were being trained by Juanita Ward. To go back to those moments, what can you say you'll remember and appreciate from Juanita?
There's a lot of things that she taught me back then. She taught me how to be a person. Like, you can't just be rude to everyone, you have to treat everyone equally. You also have to have a mentality on the court that not everyone's going to be your friend, not everyone's going to be nice to you, that you have to actually play the game with everything you have.
And when you go through that, like you said, not everybody's going to be your friend. You have to play the sport that you love, but in anything that we do that we love, I experience this all the time, is that there's always adversity. There's somebody that doesn't want to see you do well. How do you handle that, and how did that help you grow?
You have to focus on yourself, what your main goal is, where you want to be.
And back to Tim here. I want to kind of do a round robin and start with Jess, and just what you could say about these student athletes, just what you think about them and what they've meant to the programs.
Okay, Jess, well, knowing her uncle, I see her competitiveness, and actually this is a good time to tell a story I heard last night. Jess played Pop Warner flag football, and Coach Wilbur was saying that she was all upset she came home from practice because one of the boys beat her in a race, and ironically it turns out it was Eric in flag football. But no, Jess has been a true leader. You know, she's done a lot of scoring for us this season, and you know, carries the team, and I look forward to watching her a couple more weeks.
And then as far as Imani, what you can say about what Imani's been to CNS?
Imani was with us since, I think, 8th grade, so you know, she has done it all, from singing the national anthem to you know, dominating on the court, and does it with class, and she's very humble and shy, and is that okay? Yeah, you're good. Okay, and she's just been a true leader, especially this year. You've seen her grow from that 8th grade year. She went away to a school in Long Island, and then came back, and she carried our team this year.
And then as far as Eric, on the other side of the battle between himself and Jess, just what you could say about Eric and what he's meant to CNS.
Well, we're going to have a race in the parking lot after this to see now 10 years later.
For Chick-fil-A? Is it for Chick-fil-A?
Yeah,
it has to be for Chick-fil-A, okay.
I remember Eric as a sophomore. I remember visiting him in the hospital after he broke his leg. And when he came back his junior year, I could see there was a little tendency, but he, from there, grew tremendously. You know, not even on the field, but off the field. He matured and became a true leader. One thing about Eric, you know, and this speaks volumes, I remember it was our second game versus, who we played this second game? Whitesboro? Horseheads. And my son was ball boy, and he was telling him Eric was pulled after the first quarter because we were beating him pretty good. And he said, he had a Pop Warner game the next day. Well, sure enough, Eric showed up for him, and so that meant a lot to me, and of course my son. But it goes to show what kind of kid Eric is.
And finally, with Lucas on the basketball and football side of things.
One, Lucas is, I'm sure they all are, but I know from, because he won our Scholar Athlete football, but he does it in the classroom. Again, another true leader, competitor. Really, he's part of our captain's club at the high school. Always got a smile on his face, as well as Eric. So it's been a pleasure being around all four of these athletes for the last couple of years, and this group. It's funny, there's special groups of seniors, and this is one that I'll truly miss because they are not only the good athletes, we've won some championships, but they're fun to be around, and they're good kids.
And just Tim brought this up, so bring me to your flag football days and why Eric was such a bother to you on the field.
I mean, I, like my uncle, like to be like the best, like that was my goal, and Eric was just out there beating me, so I wasn't a fan of that in the beginning.
What did he beat you with? What was going on the field?
I think it was like a race, and everyone was racing, and then he pulled out and beat me.
All right, Eric. I'm going to let you speak on your side of things. What happened out there in flag football back in the day?
She was our quarterback, so she was very aggressive. And the sad part about the end of the season was how she couldn't play with X, because I was like sad because she couldn't play because she was like a good quarterback. But with the race, everybody was racing because we were kids and we have energy. So we all just raced, and of course I came out the top. It's like, no. But yeah, it was just competitive all the time.
Who would win the race today in the parking lot?
Just might beat me by a point second.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's honest. I appreciate that. Lucas, to look at playing both sports, basketball and football, just what your takeaways have been and how one kind of helped the other out.
I think that at the end of the football season, we carried the success over to the basketball season. Right at the beginning, we started 8-0. Then we suffered a loss to Liverpool. It was a big one, and we didn't know how we would bounce back from that. We got 2 more wins after that. It was 10-1, and then from there, it didn't really go well. We went in a little bit of a slump. But I think that right at the beginning, we carried over the friendship that we had because there's a few basketball players who were also football players, and it helped us right at the beginning.
Monty, that season that you spent away from CNS, just what you took away from that and what it meant to you to come back.
The competition is different from here and where I was last year. It's a little bit more competitive, but that doesn't mean that you just slack off now that you came back here. So you have to take that competitive mentality that you had there back here.
Your dad's in the audience, and when I met you, I met your dad, Daryl, as well. What has he meant to you, training, and I don't know. Do you have holidays in the house? You have Christmas and Thanksgiving? Because I know Dad's he's always doing something. So what's life been like with your dad and your training?
It's been interesting. We have like our ups and downs like any other family, but it's an interesting relationship because we both have that passion for basketball, so it just kind of like it has us, I have to say, closer because we have something in common more than usual, but we just share a passion for something.
Did you have that love for basketball growing up? Has it always been the same, or has it intensified at this point?
A little bit of both, I have to say.
So when did it start for you?
It started when I was watching Maya Moore play on UConn.
Okay, so all the way back to then. That's what did it for you? Why Maya Moore?
I don't know, it was just something about the way she played, and I was like, I have to play basketball now. And then I just happened to get a flyer for basketball in elementary school, and I was like, Dad, I want to play basketball. And
then we went from there. Lucas, I want to go back to you for this. Stony Brook, you have an opportunity
to play wide receiver out in Stony Brook. I have some friends that have played out there as well. Just what that opportunity means to you.
It's a dream come true. When I was younger, I focused a lot more on basketball, and I trained more of that. In the off season, it was basketball. And then, 10th grade year, I played on varsity football. And from right there, I really started to fall in love with the game over basketball, and I started working at it more and more. And each off season, each day, I was like, I gotta work for this. Because my dream has always been to play Division I football. And I had to do a lot of work. I would have to say broadcasting myself. My coach also helped me out. And when I finally got the chance to visit Stony Brook, I went down there with my dad in early February, so I was a little late to the process. And I decided it was the place for me.
And like you said, you had to broadcast yourself a little bit. So just what that was like for you to put yourself out there and do that legwork to get the opportunity.
Yeah, so my junior year, it was like a subpar season, it was all right. And then my senior year, I really took off. The whole team, not just myself, we broke all these records. We had a lot of media, everything like that. So right as soon as the season ended, actually during the season as well, I was sending out film to coaches. And before the season, I was sending out film to coaches. I was calling them, I was emailing them, following them on Twitter. If they didn't follow me back, I would unfollow them and follow them again, waiting for them to follow me back so I could message them. And it was a long process. It was upsetting at times, when things weren't going your way and it was getting late. But when it finally came out, I was very excited because I know that, God has a plan for all of us, and I think that He led me to the right place.
And Eric, I want to go to you on this. You have an opportunity to play at Alfred. And I can sense the personality coming from. What, is it fair to say that you have a big personality on the team?
Yes. Everybody knows who I am, not in a bragging way, but just because of the comedian I am. Okay. They say I'm a little Kevin Hart.
A little bit of Kevin Hart?
Yeah.
Wait, they said you're a little Kevin Hart?
Yeah.
Kevin Hart's like 5'2". I think you're a bigger Kevin Hart.
I appreciate it.
Are you the funniest person on the team?
No, we have one really funny cat. He's Tyler Days.
Okay.
One of our teammates. You got to meet him.
So he's the funniest guy?
Yes.
All right, fair enough. Lucas, is that fair to say? Is it Tyler?
I think it's me, but...
Okay. What do you think about that, Eric?
Yeah.
So bring me into Alfred and the opportunity that you have there to play running back.
I think it's great to play anywhere, just to keep, my training and, my focus going in the next level. And, the opportunity that Alfred's giving me, I can't thank them and God enough.
And both of you guys had brought up thanking God, and I want to stick with you, Eric, for this. Faith is important. Obviously, it's important to Chick-fil-A. It's been important to me my entire life. It's a foundation and a pillar of my company. So speak a little bit into why God is so important to you.
He's so important because, as people say, good things come to people who wait. And when I got injured, I was mad because I didn't get to finish my sophomore year. I had big dreams set. So, I just stayed steady, trust the process in God and just talk to Him, and He blessed me.
And Lucas, in the same respect, what you could say about God on your path?
The same thing, you always have to put your trust in Him, God's plan, like I just said, shout out to Drake. And, I've also used sports as a way to fellowship and to play for God, which is, it might sound corny coming out, but, if you're doing everything you can for Him, then you can't go wrong.
And Amani, I want to go to you in your future, Quinnipiac. What made this the right move for you? I know we talked about it a little bit before we started here today, but you stepped on campus and you said that was it. What was it about Quinnipiac?
Well, I did go to a camp and stepped on campus, and I was like, there's just something about it that says you need to come here. And then I went to the camp and I met the coaches, I met the staff, I met the players. I was like, this is a place I need to be. This is home. This is somewhere where I can actually build my only character, but me as a player. So this is where I'm excited to spend my next 4 years.
Whether it was a win or even a loss, you getting to 30 points, especially this past season, wasn't anything crazy or outside of the ordinary. Just what you could say about how much you've worked on your game over the years.
It takes a lot of dedication. You have to practice, it be 5 o'clock in the morning or even midnight, you have to work out, you have to train, you have to eat right, you have to focus, you have to make sure your grades are right, because other than that, you're not going to be the person you need to be.
When you go to Quinnipiac, I'm going to wake your dad up at 5 o'clock in the morning and make him train. That's what I'm going to do. To make that happen for you. I'll do that for you. And Jess, I spoke with, it's kind of funny, just before doing this today, spoke with Kathy Taylor, your future coach at Lemoyne, who just won a national championship, 22-1. The only loss was to Alfred, then beat Alfred in the Northeast 10 championship, and then beat Alfred on the way to the national championship. What can you say about being a part of a team very, very soon that is the national champion?
I'm so excited going into it. That was their first one, so like seeing the team, I'm hoping there's more to come because they're only losing 3 players. So the top 10 scorers are still there, and like being a part, like going to camps and seeing how the team works together, like they're just so close together, and that's like a big part of it.
What was it about going onto campus at Lemoyne that just felt right to you?
I knew from the start I wanted to stay home, and Lemoyne, I knew right away. Like, I didn't look anywhere else. Like, I just knew I wanted to go there. It's just, like, the coaches, the team, like, everything about it, location was just perfect for me.
It's the first national championship, like you mentioned, for Lemoyne. What do you like about Kathy Taylor? She's been there for a few seasons. What makes her special?
I love how competitive she is. I've noticed that she's not afraid to tell you what you're doing wrong, and that's what we need.
And the history at CNS and Girls Lacrosse, also something to respect. Just what you could say about the history and being a part of that history and the continued history as we sit here right now.
We get to sectionals every year. We try to pull it off. We haven't been successful yet, but we've been pushing ourselves, so I'm just hoping we can do that this year.
I have to give a shout out to 2 people that are in my family. So Sammy and Franny. What can you say? We'll start with Sammy. What can you say about Sam?
Sam is just crazy. She's so good. No one wanted to get in their way. Like, when she got the ball, you're like, all right, Sam, go ahead. It's all you. And then Franny's like an 8th grader on the team starting, and she's already out there beating. She's doing so good. There's so much pressure on her, and she's already out there just doing her thing.
Yeah, and I've heard when it comes to Sammy, when I go out into the local high school scene and I'm doing different shows with different teams, they always ask if I'm related to the girl that might have elbowed them on the field, and that's Sam all the time. So, and she's playing in Albany right now, taking care of business.
Yes.
Absolutely. Now, Chuck Wilbur as well. And we talk about you're going to play for a national champion, and Chuck Wilbur just won his 11th championship in 17 seasons at OCC for men's lacrosse. So you're surrounded by winning. Just what can you say about your uncle who called me and said, hey, just so you know, Jess is my niece. Be nice to her. What can you say about Chuck?
I look up to him. He's definitely my role model. Like, the competitiveness, like how I really take in what he has to say. Even though he coaches boys lacrosse, like I grew up knowing how to play boys lacrosse before I got into girls because my whole family's boys. So everything he says I take to heart. Like, I listen to him.
And before we wrap up this first part, I'm going to go back to Tim for this. Tim, what does it mean to be a North Star, in your opinion?
Me personally, or for them?
For you.
For me? Well, a little history. I did graduate with Chuck from CNS. So, you know, when I was in high school, I always thought I wanted to be an athletic director. Ironically, I went into education and got there. So it is truly a blessing to be back at my high school that I went to, attended, lived in this community. I left for a little bit when I got out of college, but then came back. So to be a North Star is something to be proud of. I think this is a good community to live in, raise kids, and there's a very good competitive athletic program.
Bring me into the moment that you had the opportunity to come back.
Had my first child, and we were kind of eating Thanksgiving at some buffet, you know, and my family was here, so we just decided that we wanted to be closer to family. Came back, and I started as a teacher back here in coaching, and then moved into administration.
Jess, same question. What does it mean to be a North Star?
There's so much support with it. Like, we really are like one big family. Just like our school spirit, we're always there for each other. We're all trying to go to everyone's games. Like, it's just, the school spirit's like a big thing for us.
Eric, to be a North Star for you.
honestly, I didn't think I would say this, but it means everything from the support when I had my injury. Not only did the staff, but like teachers and the superintendent were careful, wondering how I was doing, and throughout my whole high school career, I thought I was very taken care of.
And Lucas, for you, what can you say about being a North Star?
Just like he said, it means everything. It's not just the school. The school does support it. We have great fans, but it's the community as well. I remember when we won the sections, we come back and we're escorted. We have a police escort back to the high school. We have the firemen blaring their horns, all the fans there cheering for us, and just the community as a whole bringing it all together. It's a great thing.
And Amani, for you to be a North Star twice, technically, what it means to you?
To be a North Star, it's interesting because as a student athlete, you think the school as academically, okay, this is a great place to get your education, to get a diploma, to graduate from. But as an athlete, you think you're not just representing the number on your back and the name on your back, you're representing the whole school.
That coming from Amani Free as well as Eric Pride, Lucas Maluzzi, Tim Bednarski, the athletics director, and Jess Vanilli, myself, Dan Tortora. We're going to take a step aside here at Chick-fil-A Cicero. When we come back, it's rapid fire. I get to put them all in the hot seat. And the final segment, they get to put me on the hot seat. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks for being here, and thank you for supporting Chick-fil-A Cicero and CNS. Give yourselves a round of applause. We appreciate it for you being a part of this community, and we thank Chick-fil-A for finally getting here. We appreciate it.
This is a wake-up call, Fast Break.
Gear up with the real deal at Dreisig Apparel, creating what people are going to see and learn about you before they even meet you. Gear up for what you need for your team, business, or event. To look professional, look good, and feel good, outfit yourself at DreisigApparel.com. That's DREISSIG Apparel.com. The only place to gear up with the real deal. What's the universal language of a fan? Clapping your hands. With Fan Hands, the ultimate sports fan accessory, find your team color, slip them on, and start cheering on your favorite team with 11 different colors, always in stock on fanhands.com, where you'll find the ultimate sports fan accessory. Real fans wear Fan Hands. Utica Pizza Company spells family. Your family, my family, their family. The recipes that they have shared with each other throughout the years and have now been so gracious to share them with us. I can sit here and talk with you about all the great things that are on the menu. We'd be here forever. So let me say this. Utica Pizza Company is second to none. And now you can bring it home with you and you can dine in the restaurant. UticaPizzaCompany.com will give you all the information that you need. And let me say, these Utica greens, they're the best. Utica Pizza Company. Call them and place your order at 315-214-3060. That's 315-214-3060. Families break bread at Utica Pizza Company.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. You're listening to the live broadcast that we did from Chick-fil-A Cicero in celebration of Cicero North Syracuse North Stars Athletics with the athletics director Tim Bednarski, as well as Jess Manili, Amani Free, Eric Pride, and Lucas Merluzzi. And we will continue that with the rapid fire portion of the broadcast where I had the opportunity to put them all on the hot seat, and we will start with my question for Amani Free.
All right, Amani. Who is the toughest coach you've ever had?
My dad.
All right, well, how so?
He expects a lot from me, so sometimes it's like I don't want to fail in front of him, so.
All right, so your dad. All right, Jess. Gotta think about this one for a second here. All right, I'm gonna give you a choice. You can sing in public, or you can dance on stage.
Oh, God.
So what would you do? Singing or dancing? You have to pick one.
I'd probably have to dance.
You'd have to dance?
Singing wouldn't be pretty.
Singing wouldn't be pretty? All right, fair enough. All right, Tim. Let's see what I got for you here. What do you think these student athletes would say about you behind closed doors if you weren't here right now?
That is on the spot. I guess I would hope that they would know that I'm here for support for them, someone they can trust, someone that they can come to if there's an issue, it's a good one, you got me.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Someone that is helping them along the way before they go on to the next step, which, like I said before, it's sad to see them go, but I'm excited for them and their opportunities. So, and then I'm doing things the right way.
Okay. And what is the right way in your opinion?
I guess making sure that we're following the rules, we're leading by example, and having character and believing in each other as an organization, not just girls basketball, football. You know, we're all one program.
I'm going to stick with you for this. What is your favorite thing to eat at Chick-fil-A?
Am I eating healthy or not healthy?
Eat whatever you want to eat here.
I go with number one.
Number one?
Yeah.
Just the original chicken sandwich?
I ate 5 at once.
You ate 5 at once? Nice. Good for you. Okay. Now, what sauce? Do you put sauce on it?
Yeah, I'll do the sriracha. I like that. It's got a little kick.
All right.
Or I'll take the Texas Pete and ketchup and mix it together and dunk it.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right, Jess. What's your favorite thing to have at Chick-fil-A?
I just love the fries here.
Okay.
I love them.
What sauce for you?
Honestly, I'm not a big sauce person.
Straight up fries.
Yep.
All right. Fair enough. All right, Eric. What's your favorite? What's your go-to?
Honestly, I'm a football player, so I'll take anything.
Okay.
Like anything.
If you had to pick a favorite here.
Okay. I'm with Jeff. The fries go crazy.
All right. What do you dunk them in?
Secret sauce. Or
the Chick-fil-A
sauce.
Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta let Jimmer know that apparently you have a recipe.
Yeah,
For the
I got
sauce, yeah. All right, Lucas. What's your favorite here?
I would have to say the milkshake, and I was told I had to do this. You had a few guys on the show the other day, so my favorite thing to eat at Carmelita's Mexican restaurant is the Tinga nachos. Sorry to steal the thunder.
Oh, that boys lacrosse team, I'm going to have him back here and put him back on the hot seat because of that. Yeah. So, the milkshakes, what milkshake here?
I just did just the vanilla.
Vanilla milkshake?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. All right, Amani, since they know you by first name, and I think that even though you don't work here, they maybe put you on the wall as Employee of the Month. So, what's your favorite here?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I like the wraps and the fries.
The wrap and the fries. Okay, fair enough. What are you dunking in?
The wrap, I use the garlic and herb ranch. The fries, I use ketchup, Chick-fil-A sauce, and the Polynesian sauce.
All right, fair enough. I'm going to have a couple more for each of you before I go on the hot seat. I'm going back to Lucas for this. Lucas, what's one thing that you want to change about the current state of the world?
Pass for right now.
Pass for right now.
I'll take the mic.
All right, Eric, go ahead.
What would I like to change is...
there's so many things to change. There's a lot of things going on. A lot of bad things. But, I'd like to end world hunger.
End world hunger. Okay. All right, Eric.
I need more jobs.
More jobs?
Yeah.
All right, more jobs and world hunger. Two things that Chick-fil-A can help with. All right, Amani. What would you change about this world?
Like Lucas said, there's a lot of problems going around. But For me personally, a personal one for me is how the WNBA is viewed. Not a lot of people think that WNBA players are like NBA players, so I wish we have a little bit more like publicity.
And we actually spoke about this morning with Coach Q and with Katie Kolinski. What can you say about the WNBA and the fact that years ago there was no option for women, there was no WNBA. On top of that, it started small, kind of wanted to see how things went, wasn't given a lot of respect. The teams have branched out, the talent is there. So what can you say about how it's covered and what we can do from here as a broadcaster? I would appreciate it to know and to talk to my fellow media about what they should do about it as well.
I guess it's mainly on like the fans. They don't appreciate that women play the same sport as men do. I'm not sure if it's like because we're females or it's because the men do like flashier moves like with the dunking and the in and outs and crossing people over, but women can do the same thing. You just have to pay attention and love the game, not just view it as, oh, it's females, it's not really important.
I agree with that. WNBA definitely needs to get more respect out there. All right, Jess. Something you change.
I'd probably do, like, with all the natural disasters, like, around the world, like, everybody, like, reaching out and helping out, you know? Like, coming all together.
So doing more for the people out there that need it.
Yeah.
All right, Tim. What are you changing about this world?
Well, I think, working in education, I would probably focus on the violence, especially in the school system. It seems like it's on the news every day. So I would look to changing that.
And my final question, to get you all off the hot seat, and I'm going to stick with you, Tim, for this one. If you had a neon sign that hung above your head everywhere you went to describe who you are, what you stand for, something about you, what would the sign say? Fun. All right. With an exclamation point or a period? All right.
I always like to have fun.
All right. All right, Jess. What would your neon sign say?
Alright, I'm just gonna go with, like, outgoing.
Outgoing?
Yeah.
All right. All right, Amani, what would it say?
Can you come back to me? I gotta think for a minute.
I will come back to you.
Sorry.
All right, Eric. What did it say?
About me?
Yeah.
Ambitious.
Ambitious.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Lucas.
That's gotta be one word.
No, it could be anything. It could be a paragraph.
A little thing I coined and kind of stole, but it's also out there, is in Jesus' name I play.
In Jesus' name I play.
Yes, sir.
All right. I like that. All right, Amani, I'm back to you. Makes me feel good that you guys have to think a little bit because I'm about to go on the hot seat, so I got to milk this for what it's worth.
I would have to say, Psalms 46:5.
Psalms 46:5? Mm-hmm. Can you let everybody know that doesn't know what that is?
It says, God's within her, she will not fall.
Appreciate that. I think that's a fair way to end this segment. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, with Lucas Merluzzi, as well as Eric Pride, Amani Free, Tim Bednarski, and Jess Manili. We will take a couple minutes aside. I will give you a chance to write down your questions, look them up, do whatever you have to do. And then I'm on the hot seat, so make it interesting. We'll be back in a minute.
This is a wake-up call fast break.
Hi, this is Kira from Looking Glass Events, where we're always giving you a reason to celebrate. Whether you have a small business, large business, personal event, or wedding, we are available to plan and coordinate your dream event to life. Every detail, every step, Looking Glass Events is working with you all the way. Call us at 315-702-4653. That's 315-702-4653. Or contact us through our website, lgweddingsandevents.com. Looking Glass Events, giving you a reason to celebrate.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly.
Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Back here, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, live on location at one of my favorite places in the world, Chick-fil-A Cicero. Jimmer knows I waited over a decade for Chick-fil-A to come here. So, because I used to live in the South. I was born and raised in Syracuse, but I was around Chick-fil-A down in Orlando and whatnot. So we're happy that Jimmer brought it home. We appreciate that very much. CNS North Stars, we're here with Jess Manili of Girls Lacrosse, who is heading off to Lemoyne to play for the national championship team, and Kathy Taylor. We have Amani Free, who's heading off to Quinnipiac. We also have Eric Pride, who will be playing running back for Alfred, and we have Lucas Merluzzi, who will be a wide receiver for Stony Brook. Tim Bednarski decided to leave for this segment because he didn't want to ask me any questions. No, he had to go back and do sectionals. It's all good. So, Tim, I don't have to be on his hot seat, but I'm on your hot seat. So, Jess, because I know that going into this, you had never really done anything like this, right?
Nope.
Okay, so I think it's only fair to let you ask me the first question.
I'm going to start with a hard one.
All right, she's got them written on the phone. What do you got?
Who do you like more, Sam or Fran?
Oh, God. Oh, man. You know, they go back and forth with each other so much. And should I shut the recording off right now? And now they, you know, it's really funny because I've been in the car when their father, my cousin Derek, when he's talking to them and like, oh, Sam did this, and then Franny's like, well, I did this. And one thing I love about Franny is every time she does something good, she'll always say, you know, for an 8th grader. And so I appreciate that. And then Sam is, you know, she's a true competitor. I can't choose one over the other because I love them both. But I will say that Franny all of a sudden looks exactly like Sam. And it's crazy to me that they're like duplicates. And the way that they play and everything that they do. So I love them both. I know if they were here, they'd want me to choose, but I'm not going to do it. So, all right, Amani, what question do you have for me?
If you had to pick one sport to broadcast for the rest of your life, what sport would it be?
Oh, God. If I had to pick one sport to broadcast for the rest of my life, it would be between football and basketball, because I grew up with that more than anything. But I broadcasted basketball. It was my first job for Marywood University, my school. So, and I love basketball, and I always said if I close my eyes and I hear the sneakers and the basketball bounce, I could tell you what zone they're in. So I'd have to say basketball. All right, Lucas, what you got for me? You guys are going to get a bunch, so.
A bunch?
Yeah, we'll get like 5 apiece.
All right. So, this one. So, picture a penguin walks through that door right now.
Oh my God.
And he's wearing a sombrero. What does he say and why is he here?
You're doing what the boys lacrosse team did. Just ask me these insane questions. So, a penguin walks in with a sombrero. What does he say?
What does he do?
What does he do?
And what does he say?
Well, he eats some Chick-fil-A, which makes a lot of his relatives question him. And then maybe he goes to Carmelita since he's wearing a sombrero.
That's true.
There you go.
No, that's a good one.
All right, Eric, what do you got for me? Please make it somewhat normal.
I'm sorry, but can you describe the color yellow to someone who is blind?
I got asked to do this already. So, describe the color yellow to someone who is blind. I would say that when you feel the sun on your face, that is what yellow feels like. Or when you're extremely calm, I would say that too, because it's kind of like that yielding, calming color. I would say that.
Yes.
All right, fair enough. All right, Amani, what's your second one for me? Yeah.
If you're stuck to eat one food for the rest of your life, what food would it be?
I'm going to eat one food for the rest of my life. Well, I'm Italian and Hispanic, so I have a wide array of amazing choices. And I could eat either one for the rest of my life. But I would probably say pizza. I'll go with pizza. All right, Jess, what do you got?
If you were to switch places with anyone, who would it be?
Ooh. Man. I think it would be really cool to switch places with God to know what He thinks of what's going on. I think it would be interesting to be in that position. I feel like 5 minutes in, I'd be like, do you want it back? But I would say I'd also want to switch places with my mom because she is one of the greatest people that I know. I would switch places with her in a heartbeat because I appreciate our relationship through my eyes. I would love to see it through her eyes. And in the same respect, you got to take care of mom. So, you know, I just, my mom and my grandmother, who's my mom's mom, I would, in a heartbeat, switch places with either one of them because I love them dearly. So I would do that. All right, Eric. Number 2, what do you got?
Teach me something I don't know in the next 5 minutes.
Teach you something you don't know in the next 5 minutes. When you're talking on a microphone, hold it up to your face.
Hey, hey, hey.
All right, Lucas.
All right, so rainy night, dark out, about 10 p.m.
All right.
You're alone in your car. What are you thinking about?
Rainy night, 10 p.m.
You know, maybe you got some smooth jazz playing.
I would be thinking, how did I get to Chick-fil-A after it closed? Why did I do this to myself? All right, Amani, what's your third one for me?
Put me on the spot.
Anything. Anything at all.
If you have to stay a certain age for the rest of your life, what age would you want that to be?
Oh man, I would be 6 years old because both of my grandfathers passed away in 1992 when I was 6. So I would say I would stay 6 for the rest of my life, so I never had to say goodbye to them. That's what I would do. All right, Jess, you got it.
All right, who's your favorite athlete?
Oh man, currently. This is not easy. I like this. I'm going to go by sport. I love Jeremy Grant, and I'm going to say that because, Jeremy has played for the Oklahoma City Thunder, up to this point, but I've covered him. I've covered his brother Jaron, who played for Notre Dame. His father, Harvey, I had the great opportunity of meeting him and speaking with him. So I love the Grant family, and Jeremy has always treated me with respect, and he's never had like a big head. It's never gotten to him, so I would say him for basketball. He's a good kid. I would say for football, I would say Blake Bortles because he takes more trash talking than most, and he played with a tear in his right wrist in his throwing hand from December 2016 all throughout this past season, and we heard that Tom Brady had a little boo-boo on his thumb and everybody was crying about it. This guy had to play with a tear in his wrist and had to take injections before every game. So I would say him for that. For baseball, I would say Aaron Judge because he's making people like the Yankees again after Steroid Rodriguez. And let's think. I got to think of some other stuff here. For hockey, I think it's anybody on the Ducks because I just love my Mighty Ducks. So I would say that. And obviously, Syracuse, Lemoyne, OCC, Oswego, all the student athletes here, I have a lot of love for them, and I have a lot of care and concern for CNS. So, you guys are fun to be around, and not to put her on the spot, but because I've known Amani for a long time, I would say that Amani is one of my favorites, And I know that you have a tough coach in Pops right there, and you've responded very well. So I would say Imani's done a lot that I can appreciate over the years. And even though she's younger than me, you taught me to never give up, and that when it is 5 a.m. and it's snowing outside and you're playing basketball, I mean, that's true grit, so I appreciate that. All right, Lucas, what do you got?
All right, so are you a Team Yanni or a Team Laurel?
I'm convinced that this is a government conspiracy. And I think that when we're listening to this file that's Yanni or Laurel, there's subliminal messaging and they're telling us to do something. I think the government's involved in all this.
Well,
like his dress gray or blue or whatever the heck that one was.
You hear the Brainstorm and Green Needle one?
The what?
Brainstorm and Green Needle?
No.
You have to check it
out.
out.
No, but Yanni or Laurel, I'm going to say Yanni. I don't hear Laurel at all. But I think it's a government conspiracy. All right, Eric, what do you got for me?
What were you like in high school?
Same as I am now. God-fearing man, humble, hungry, wanted to do things the right way. I sat in the front of my class, I raised my hand. I sit in the front of press conferences and I raise my hand. So it's not, sometimes it feels like a thankless job, but if you don't put yourself out there, you're never going to achieve your dreams. So I'm very much who I am today is who I was. All right, Jess, what do you got?
What's one word to describe you?
Ooh. Determined, and I would also say comedic, and I would say faithful. I'm going to have to pick 3. All right, Amani, what do you got?
You're stranded on an island.
All right.
You get to pick 3 people and 1 way to escape the island.
Oh, gosh.
What would it be?
3 people and 1 way to escape the island.
Oh, and you can only take 1 person to go with you.
Oh. So I'm leaving 2 people on the island.
Yes.
So it's got to be 2 people I don't like. I think here.
No, you have to like all of them.
I got to like all of them? Man. This is tough. It's funny, but it's tough. All right, just roll with me on this. I love my mom and my dad, but I'm gonna bring my, oh gosh, I'm gonna bring my mom, I'm gonna bring my dad, and I'm gonna bring LeBron James. Because I'm leaving LeBron on that island.
No, he has to be someone you like.
Oh, I kind of like him. I respect him, but I'm going to leave him on the island because somebody else needs to win a championship. But I'm going to take my mom because my dad has always claimed to be the smartest person in the room. So if he can figure a way off the island, I'm going to have him save LeBron and I'm going to save my mom. That's what we're going to do. All right, Eric, what do you got for me?
What can you take away from me at this interview?
What can I take away from you?
Yes.
Honestly, I would like to do a couple shows with you and see how our chemistry is because I like your comedic timing. So I think I'd do a couple shows with you, Eric.
I'd love that.
All right, I'm gonna have to stick. You're gonna have to stick around with me.
Yes.
I have to make it happen. All right, Lucas. Second to last question for you. What do you got?
I'll get another?
Yeah, you'll get another.
Alright, I'm not really sure right here, so I'll pull this one up. You are a new addition to the Cran Box. What color would you be and why?
I feel like you're texting the boys lacrosse team.
Did I ask that one too?
Yes.
It's just, it's the page I'm on. You know what, let me get another one.
Yeah, get another one.
You know?
Alright, well, he's looking, Jess. What do you got for me?
Alright, what would you be doing if you weren't doing this?
What would I be doing if I wasn't doing this, if I wasn't broadcasting? I would be acting more, or I'd be singing. So I plan on doing both. I have gotten to act a little bit, so that was fun. All right, Lucas. Everybody else got 1 more. You got 2 more since we skipped you on that one. So what do you got? Anything in the world?
I got
the internet.
What? Can you ask me a question about what I did before the internet?
What did you do before the internet?
Well, I don't like libraries, so I tried to stay out of them. But what did I do before the internet? I had to look stuff up. I had to research, and it wasn't on Google, and it was difficult. And I feel like I was born in 1890 when I'm describing that. But yeah, when I was a kid, there were no cell phones. But I'm only 32. When I was a kid, there was no cell phones, no computers in the house, no internet. Then we had AOL. So yeah, life was tragic according to younger people now. But I liked it. I liked that you had to leave a message. Well, most people didn't have answering machines, so you didn't even know where they were. But you had to leave a message, and then they had to call you back if they felt like it. I thought that was cool. I miss that.
Cool stuff.
All right, Eric, this is your final question.
Would you rather get eaten by a lion or an alligator?
Well, I'm going to pick a lion because St. Daniel was thrown into a lion's den, and he prayed to God, and God tamed all the lions. So I'm going to take my chance with the lions.
Okay.
All right, Jess. What do you got?
All right, who's your favorite actor?
Ooh, my favorite actor, Robert De Niro. Bobby De Niro. All right, Amani. Final one. You have two? All right, ask me two.
Okay.
You can ask me both.
Okay. If you had to go on a date with one famous person, who would it be?
I love my wife. I know who she would pick, though. I know who she would pick, though. She would pick Jennifer Aniston or Tyra Banks because she knows. So I'd pick one of those two. And I love that when Janet Jackson was at the Billboard Music Awards, that Tyra was still getting down to that music. I appreciated that a lot. So that was nice. So guys, Tyra Banks is still good in my book. You got another one though. So what is it?
If you needed someone to broadcast with you, who would you pick at this table?
Ooh.
Besides Eric.
Besides Eric. Well, Amani, I would do a show with you, and I would call it The Many Faces of Daryl Free. Is what I would call it. That's what I call it. I got to roast him a little bit here today. All right, Lucas, your final question. What do you got for me?
All right, so you remember my bucket list, right?
Yeah.
Final question is, would you like my autograph?
I'll take your autograph, only if you'll take mine. All right, deal. Fair enough. All right. With that being said, for Lucas Merluzzi of football and basketball at CNS, you can see him at Stony Brook coming up very soon as a wide receiver. For Eric Pride of CNS football, who you can see as a running back at Alfred. For Amani Free of CNS girls basketball, who you will see at Quinnipiac. And for Jess Manili, who you will see with Lemoyne coming up, and you'll continue to see for CNS girls lacrosse. I'm Dan Tortora. This is Wake Up Call. Thank you to each of these student athletes, and thank you to Tim Bednarski, who did not put me on the hot seat. We appreciate it. And if we could steal Jimmer for a moment, if he can come over here, because I know he had some words to say to CNS. So we'll await that, and we'll be back here in just a second.
This is a wake-up call. Fast break.
This is Lawrence Papaleo, licensed real estate salesperson for Gilbo Realty. Call our home office at 315-752-9513, or better yet, call or text me directly at 315-748-2524.
Let me ask you a question, Lawrence. If I needed you to help me buy a house, find the right place, could you help me do that?
Joe, I'll help you find your dream home.
You don't ever say my name on the radio, never. If I needed to sell a house, could you help me go about that the right way?
Yes, I can.
How do they get a hold of you?
Call me directly at 315-748-2524.
But you also do the commercial property. So if I got a business, couple businesses, got to take one here, move it over there, do this, do that, are you going to help me buy and sell my commercial property also?
Yes, sir.
I like that. What's my name again?
I have no idea.
Absolutely, but they need to know your name, so give it one more time.
This is Lawrence Papaleo, licensed real estate salesperson for Gilbo Realty. My phone number is 315-748-2524.
Why don't you tell them your name one more time and that number so we can jot it down?
This is Lawrence Papaleo. Call me or text me directly at 315-748-2524.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or ice milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
All right, and before we wrap up here with the CNS North Stars, we're going to have Jimmer Sikowski, who's the owner and operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero. who made one of my dreams come true by coming here. So we're going to hand it off to you because we came up with this idea jointly to have CNS here every single month and to make sure that all year round you're going to be surrounded by the student athletes, the coaches, and the staff that care so much about you and that you care so much about in the community. And, you know, CNS obviously is right here on the wall at Chick-fil-A Cicero as well. So I'm going to hand it off to Jimmer for a few words.
Sure. Thanks, Dan. And I want to thank all you young people and the families for coming. One of the things that's really important for us here at Chick-fil-A is positively impacting the lives of everyone that comes in contact with the restaurant. And no one more so than the young people in this community. And so your presence in this restaurant honors me and honors our team. The other thing I would share is, you know, one of the things that we like to recognize at Chick-fil-A is people who are trying to be remarkable in their lives, right? And so when I was talking to Mr. Benarski about what we might want to do for the next monthly event, we came up with this idea that we'd have some remarkable young people from CNS, and you four, right, were the people that were selected, and I think that's an incredible testament to you, but just as importantly, a testament to your loved ones, the people that are here tonight and some of them that aren't, that obviously played a very big part in you getting to this point in your life, and as you continue your journey into college, they're a big foundation for that. So thank you so much for coming out and being remarkable people and setting a great example for the other young people in this community in terms of what can be achieved through hard work, and I know it's a lot of hard work and dedication. So thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Coming from Jimmer Sikowski, owner and operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero right here on 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, New York. And I think it's only fair to say that we have remarkable athletes here, but this place is owned by a remarkable person. So thank you for the work that you do. Have a good night, everybody, and please continue to cheer on CNS in the community. Show some love. And one more, if I could get just a round of applause for Eric, Amani, Lucas, and Jess one more time for what they've done, chosen as remarkable athletes in the senior spotlight. Have a great night. We will see you here next month.
This is a wake-up call, Fast Break.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. You know, we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Want to thank everybody that was a part of the show today. Alan Griffin, Syracuse University men's basketball assistant coach, speaking with me on the return of Tyus Battle to Syracuse for his junior season. I also want to thank Katie Kolinski and our Coaching with Class segment that we do every single Thursday around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So thank you to Katie Kolinski, who spent 7 years under Jim Boeheim at Syracuse and is looking for her next opportunity as we move forward and hoping and And God bless, the best for her and the best for her path as she moves forward. And I also want to thank from CNS, our Remarkable Athletes Senior Spotlight. Would love to thank Jess Maneely, who plays girls lacrosse there and will be moving forward to Lemoyne, who just won their first ever national championship. Eric Pride for everything that he's done and heading forward to play running back in college and obviously playing running back at CNS. To Lucas Merluzzi, who will play wide receiver in college and in his time at boys basketball as well as football at CNS, and Amani Free, who will head off to Quinnipiac and will be playing women's basketball and played girls basketball at CNS. And, of course, Tim Bednarski, the athletics director of CNS, the first show we got to do together, and I had a phenomenal time. And, of course, to Jim Sikowski, the owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, who made my dreams come true when he brought Chick-fil-A to Central and Upstate New York. And obviously we appreciate and love our mission and working with them there, including doing things like serving the community, and really want you to check out what we did with that. You can see our video on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT on a surprise visit that we paid to the canteen, which is right in front of Cicero North Syracuse High School. You definitely want to check out that video and the nice little surprise that we gave to the young men and women in the community, and just some of the words that Jimmer had to say and everything as well. So with that being said, Friday's show will be June 1st. Hard to believe. So God bless your May, folks. Please say a prayer for my family. My aunt just had surgery, and my dad is having surgery, so please say a prayer for the both of them. Say a big-time prayer for my mama, because she's fighting a good fight, and for my wife, because she's an amazing person that's starting a new chapter in her life, and I just love supporting her, and I love being her partner, so God bless to my wife. And with that being said, blessings to everybody that needs it, and all the prayers that we have out there. Tomorrow's show, as you know, on Fridays, we do the Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, first and foremost on the show. We'll do that at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, right after the morning menu. And then we'll get into a special Sound Bites of the Week at significant Sound Bites at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then at 10 o'clock, we'll be jumping into a world that I love on video and audio. We're looking forward to having John Newman back on the show from Newman Sports Cards. So plenty coming up here on Friday's show. God bless May. Let's finish off May strong. Let's start June in an amazing way. June 1st is tomorrow, folks, and it's time to buy your tickets for the CNY Pop Festival. We got about a month and a half to go. Buy your tickets at cnypopfestival.com. It's a new festival coming to Syracuse, New York, brought to you by Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, LLC, and it's unlike anything that we have ever had here, with the connection of sports figures as well as TV and movie stars all coming together for one special day, one special event, Sunday, August 12th of this year. So buy your tickets now. VIP are available as well as pre-sale, and you can get those at cnypopfestival.com. God bless y'all, and I'll talk with you tomorrow morning.